Best men's haircuts, the origins and history. Guys like joking about girls' hairstyles. For example, a woman can make 3 things of nothing: a salad, a tragedy, and a hairstyle. Or they say that a girl spends more time to style her buzz cut than to plait a long braid down to the tashi. However, this doesn't mean that a man shouldn't care what he has on his head. You may change your ripped t-shirt with the bold slogan for an official suit, or an A-shirt with bumpy cargo trousers for an elegant club outfit for a couple of minutes. But your haircut and hairstyle never change so fast. It's a more responsible part of your image. Each popular men's haircut has its own niche, fans and history. Would you like to learn about it? Make yourself comfortable, pour yourself a cup of tea, like the video while the Be Bigger's open is on. Kanatka, Canadian cut. This haircut has been popular for no less than 50 years. The fact that it came not the Soviet Union with the Canadian ice hockey player, the main competitors of the Soviet team, is probably known to everyone. For example, look at the famous forward Babe Dye, who played 11 seasons in NHL, 281 official games, and who had a typical Canadian cut. The reasons for its popularity are simple. A guy with a Canadian, as we've mentioned before, can change street style to the classic without changing anything on his head. Well, except for washing his hair and styling it a bit backwards or on one side to look very elegant. At the weekends, you change your suit for hipster stuff and put your hair up. Or you wear something street casual and make lush asymmetric chaos consisting of sticking up flyaways. It's still the same Canadian, but you've changed from a perfect office worker to a perky hunter for the sweets of life. By the way, the Canadian is quite good with highlighting and other parts of the young. The main problem here is that the Canadian won't fit the guys with small chins because it visually enlarges the upper part of head, so that face looks disproportionately and non-brutal at all. Quiff. Let's go back to the old world, moreover to its most conservative part, to Steve Britton, that has been the center of men's fashion for many years. The men's haircut called quiff started spreading outside the United Kingdom a bit earlier in the 50s. It's similar to the Canadian cut, because on the top and in the front there is a lot of hair. But unlike the Canadian cut, the quiff doesn't have nape and temples cut so thoroughly and so short. The graduation in the length is more smooth. The quiff typically has more accurate and slick combing of the fringe and the crown. So the difference in length is not really visible. Perhaps it's one of the most classic gentleman's haircuts that fits classic clothes the best. It means it's good for elegant shirts and suits, ties, polished shoes, sound career ambitions and luxury cars. The quiff was born when the young men from labor districts started to imitate the English elite youth, and the haircut quickly gained the international appreciation. The quiff is more demanding of care. Unlike the Canadian, you can comb it with your hand after washing your head. But it has a good few styling variants. It's even more advantageous when creating elegant and classic looks, though it doesn't look very brutal. A typical quiff lover is, for example, Leonardo DiCaprio. Crew cut. One of the most militaristic and easy-to-care men's haircuts is the crew cut. It's easy to guess that it came from militaristic, or to be more exact, soldiers' reality. In most cases, army officers still can have their hair longer than the proverbial 6 mm as imposed to the common soldiers. The crew cut is about cutting hair from the sides and the nape with a trimmer as short as possible. The top and the fringe may be even from 10 to 20 mm long. It's the classic crew cut that followed the almost forgotten close crop. The haircut that it called a long crew cut today was called semi-short hairstyle. On the top and in the front, hair may be 30–40 mm long, and temples and nape are almost of the same length. Both variations of the crew cut come from military haircuts, but they are popular with people far removed from the army, since the haircut is easy to care and only the absence of hair looks more brutal. Pompadour and undercut. There is a thing that will never be filed as a history. The trend for hairstyles with a very extensive top, when hair in the front and on the crown lets you make an awesome flick or just a sticking up fringe. The first person who introduced that fashion was the unforgettable Elvis Presley. That's why this hairstyle is often called Elvis or Pompadour, after the name of a mistress of Louis XV of France. Though, according to his portraits, the powerful person didn't like high flicks very much. Several years ago, these hairstyles have become too much. Pompadour having changed into a high fade. Quite often it's accompanied by more or less well-groomed beard. It had the fate of any extremely popular trend. At first it was super fashionable, then it started gleaming intrusively from every place. Later it declined because it was too well known and lost its originality. No, you still can see such a guy on the screen, in the street or even in the mirror, but the hairstyle doesn't have its former creativity anymore. The undercut's history goes back to the military style. Like the military in clothes, the undercut became a strange phenomenon in hairdressing. It was born as an imitation of military look, but it definitely had some rebellious features. The name of the hairstyles says for itself, and here it means a sharp and notable gradation in length. Temples and nape are cut very short, but the top is so long that it looks like a small hat on the crown. The advantages of the undercut are the following: it looks deliberately strict and brutal. It fits different types of faces in different ages. Just like the Canadian, it has a lot of variations in ways of styling and its results. Famous undercut lovers are Johnny Depp, David Beckham and Brad Pitt, though the latter could choose anything more suitable. The disadvantage of the undercut is that demands for styling and always needs the constant maintenance of length. Otherwise, the rebellious strict lines will be lost very fast, and you, depending on the type of your hair, will get a shaggy Canadian or that very Elvis Pompadour. Flat top. Flat top is one more variation of the military style, but it doesn't look rebellious. In its dip, it's more likely to preserve the army order and preciseness of the lines. It looks quite similar to the crew cut, but is different with a special element, the horizontal plane that is cut on the top of raised hair. It's not always perfectly horizontal or very flat, but it always has the sticking out, a bit longer quiff. It's generally believed that this concept became popular after the World War II, when the veterans started integrating into the peaceful life after the long years of war, trying to keep their mental mainstay without disappointing people who had been waiting for their return. Though teenagers as usually reduced the idea of the flat top to a slight absurdity. Preppy. The preppy hairstyle is a variation of a classic men's hairstyle of young people. The name of the style comes from the English word preparatory or preliminary. Pre-college preparatory was a subculture that arose among the students of prestige colleges. It was about young people who were raised with privileges and kept maintaining in circles. Preppy were used to have a neat appearance and look as perfect young generation. It can be seen in their whole looks, including hairstyle. But historically, these good children of well-to-do families can be quite wild, but they go wild in their own privileged way. hair moderately long on temples and nape gradually become longer on the top. It usually has side part, but not necessarily strict. Sometimes quiff may be combed upwards. The most interesting thing is that during the decades of the last century, this hairstyle was worn mostly by college people, school students, young workers, salesmen, white collars, and even gangsters. They all wanted to look elegant, successful, and confident. Top knot, or we are all a bit samurais by nature. If you clump your hair into a low bun or a braid on the nape, it's an old European tradition, but a top knot on the crown is definitely borrowed from the Japanese. This hairstyle can be made on the basis of undercut and regular long hair as well. The main condition is that hair on the crown should be long enough in order not to stick up from the knot. Temples and nape should be cut short or be stretched over by the hair to look slick. You can wear it with a beard and without it. Funny enough, but it matches official suits just as well as some casual clothes. The Japanese concept of the man's hairstyle, even in the modern look, is full of Oriental philosophy and doesn't mean something rebellious, but independency, self-sufficiency, and even some detachment. By the way, it suits long straight hair better. It's natural. Have you ever seen curly-headed samurais? Sometimes the knot is worn not on the crown, but on the nape, and in this case you risk to transform from a mysterious samurai into an arty European painter. It's not the same, but girls like it. Thank you for watching this video. Comment which haircut are you wearing now, and which one would you like to have but can't afford it and why. Don't forget to like the video and choose the next one from the left or from the right.